I've always been an advocate for having a home gym set up in case of emergencies, because you never know what's going to happen. A snow day, whether it's really bad weather or you're really crunched for time and you have things to do, or a global pandemic hits and suddenly everybody has to work out from home, whatever it may be, I think having a home gym setup is a great thing to have. But I do also know that for some people, working out at home is the reason why they don't see the progress they want. So if you're working out from home, you're trying to make that transition or make this thing a little bit more permanent now that you understand the value of it, then stick around, because today we're going to talk about how to avoid the top 5 biggest mistakes that I see home exercisers make. With more of us working out at home than ever before, there are more options for the home exerciser than ever before. So one of the things that I noticed, right before the pandemic hit, is that there were already lots of little random tidbits of exercise out there where you could find something on Pinterest. Here on YouTube, there were a lot of people providing workouts, and of course on Instagram. But once the pandemic hit, those things exploded. Every single gym had an on-demand service. Every digital platform has on-demand services for what you can do. There's more workouts than ever on Instagram and Facebook and here on YouTube, and blog posts and things like that. So at the very beginning of when COVID hit, I went to a lot of my clients, I went to my client groups, and I said, hey, this is probably, going to be a thing. So you might want to collect some home gym equipment. Of course, 90% of them did not listen. And then everybody ended up running out of gym equipment. But one of the things that I let them know up front, so this is especially inside of my workout app training group, I let everybody know that, hey, if this is only going to be for a couple of weeks, then it's not that big of a deal. But the thing that you have to take into consideration is that if this lasts longer than 3 weeks, that is when physique adaptations are going to occur. So it's really important to understand that whenever we're talking about, what you should or shouldn't do, if something is only happening within the span of a couple of weeks time frame, it's not going to make or break your progress. So if something happens, you get injured and you can't get back into the gym for a week or 2, or you need to quarantine for 10 days because somebody that has been in contact with somebody else, that has COVID, when things like that are happening and it's only going to be a limited time, I wouldn't stress over the details, over the nitty-gritty. It's when something is going to be beyond that 3-week mark that you may start to see these diminishing results. And that's when these mistakes that we're going to talk about actually come into play. So knowing that is what we're talking about. If you're in that 3-week or less window, do whatever you want. Test the waters, find the things, be if you're on vacation or something, be random, okay? Have fun, find new varieties of things that you like. But if you're going to be working out at home on a more permanent basis than maybe you thought in the past, or you're somebody who has been working out at home forever, then this information is for you. So make sure that if you want more information like this from somebody who has worked out at home for over 2 decades, then hit that like button, hit the subscribe so that you're notified every time I drop a new video. So let's break down some of these mistakes. The first mistake that I would say that I've seen a lot of home exercisers make, especially those that are used to working out in the gym and then they start working out at home, is not taking their home workouts as seriously as they take the gym workouts. So it's one thing when you're paying for a membership and you go walk in and you're in the environment and you're seeing everybody else work out and there's this heavy duty equipment, or maybe you're there on a lunch break, so you try to get in and get out and you just take your workout a lot more seriously when you're at the gym. But then when people start transitioning, or maybe it's a bad weather day or something like that, they work out at home. And this we saw especially before and during the transition of the pandemic, is people looking at their home workouts as more of this day off type thing of not really investing in the equipment that they need to have at home the same way that they're investing into a gym membership. So if you're somewhere that you pay, $10 a month to be in the gym, then maybe invest $10 a month into building up the equipment and getting the things that you need for your home gym, buying lifting gloves, buying a new dumbbell, or saving up money to buy, a barbell set or something like that. If you're in a place where, you would be paying $30 or $50 or $100 a month, same thing, still take it as seriously, not only with your investment, but also with how you approach it. Don't look at your home gym days as days where you can slack off, do laundry between sets. I'm probably just talking to myself on that one because I literally do that in strength phases, but I don't look at them as if they are a day off. So saying that, okay, well, I'm home and, I'm just going to like do some push-ups and air squats and something like that, and everything's going to be good. It's looking at the workout, whatever the workout was that you were planning on doing at the gym, you want to be able to do that exact same workout at home. So regardless of where you're working out, the workout should not change. Not drastically, at least. So if it was a chest day at the gym, then it should be a chest day at home. If you were doing squats at the gym with heavy weight and you decide that you're staying at home, you should have a similar setup at home to allow you to squat just as heavy. Maybe you're using dumbbells instead of barbells, but at the same time, you're still challenging yourself. You're not walking in and just being random, which leads me to the next one, and that is randomness. That is something else that I see a lot of home gym exercisers, make as a mistake, or maybe that's something that they were doing at the gym too. So I know a lot of these can kind of go both ways, but specifically we're talking about when you're working out at home. So a lot of times when, like I say, it's something that's kind of happening like accidentally, like, oh, I can't get to the gym today, I'm going to go down in the basement and do a couple things, or I'm going to, find a workout on YouTube or on some on-demand service that I'm just going to do in my bedroom type thing. A lot of times that's when things get really random, or we invest in a lot of these new devices that have come out that have, on-demand services on them. So something like maybe a Peloton or a Mirror or something like that. And we're doing them, or a specific app, Daily Burn or something like that. Not saying that anything is wrong with any of those, but I'm saying getting up every day and deciding what workout that you want to do based on how you feel is great if your goal is to feel good. If your goal is to get a specific result, then you should be doing specific workouts. So the randomness that we sometimes equate to being at home, because a lot of times that is why people will choose being at home over going to the gym, is because they feel like if I'm at home, I can just decide what I want to do that day. And I can get on this machine or that machine, or pop in this DVD, or hit, this particular workout in my app because it says get fit in 15 minutes and I have about 15 minutes. So I'm going to do that. So the reason why I'm saying that is because remember what we talked about in the beginning. If this is just a very short period of time, if this is just like, I'm just trying to get my mojo back, I'm just going to take a couple of weeks to just like do some fun stuff just to get back in the group of working out, that's one thing. But when we're talking about 3, 6, 12 weeks of doing whatever feels good to us, again, check your goal. If your goal is to feel good, done. That's being accomplished. If your goal is to have greater endurance, gain some strength, gain some muscle mass, lose fat, anything like that, those are all specific and different goals, and they all need specific and different workouts to help you achieve the result. So make sure that you're taking that into consideration when you're choosing to work out at home. The third one that I would say to avoid is not progressing. You want to progress in your workouts. So if we're going to a gym and they have, hundreds of pounds of weights available to us, it's pretty easy to progress. You're going to go in, you pick up 5 pounds. As soon as that becomes too light, you pick up 8 pounds. And as soon as that becomes too light, you go to 10, 12, 15, 50, whatever it is. You have unlimited availability there to continue progressing and getting stronger in your lifts. Or if you're doing cardio, like you have a variety of cardio machines to test your endurance or whatever the goal is for you. But the point is that a lot of times I see people who are working out from home. Now, this was especially popular back in the day when workout DVDs were a thing. I know that there's apps and all the devices and stuff now, but one of the things that I notice is that a lot of people tend to get very attached to or nostalgic over a specific workout style or exercise. So like when we had things like P90X or whatever, like kind of explode on the scenes, or a lot of the Jillian Michael DVDs and, just things of that nature, what we would see is that often some of these like get fit in like 30 minutes or less type workouts will say, grab one heavyweight and one lightweight. And then we kind of assume that we can just execute on the entire workout with just the heavy and the lightweight. But I'm using air quotes because of the fact that heavy is so relative. What's heavy to your shoulders is not necessarily heavy to your biceps. What's heavy to your biceps isn't heavy to your back. What's heavy to your back may not be heavy to your legs. So because heavy is so relative, if you're doing a workout where either there's some kind of guidance on what weights you should select, like maybe it's only telling you to grab 1 or 2 weights for your entire body, or you're doing, maybe you're old school like me. I love a good workout DVD. And I know that a lot of those, they would say like get 1 5-pound and 1 8-pound weight, or the instructor would tell you what weight they were picking up. And I have to say that if you have been doing the workout from, you started it in January, you're going back to it again in March, you're going back to it again in October. In October, you should not be lifting the same weight that you were lifting in January. If you're doing a workout that's been your favorite for years, you should no longer be listening to the weight that the instructor is telling you to pick up, because of the fact that you should have gotten so much stronger. They are frozen in time, the people that are on the DVDs. You're not. So that's something that I would absolutely recommend taking into consideration, is the fact that you still want to progress, even if the instructions are not telling you to. You have to know that intuitively if you are following a workout that is pre-recorded, or if you're doing something live, even that maybe they're going to record it and you're going to do it again later. You have to know when it's time to progress. If you're doing a written workout, maybe something you printed off the internet, if you're going to repeat it over and over and over, whether the instructions tell you or not, you should probably be about 5% stronger at the end of each phase. You should be trying and testing yourself and grabbing heavier weights whenever you can to see if you have gotten strength gains from that workout, or if you are able to rest a little bit less or something like that. So those are just things that you want to keep in mind, because I see a lot of home gym exercisers not progressing. They'll go through, months of lifting and working out, and they haven't added to their collection. So like we talked about in tip number 1, because they didn't take it seriously and buy well enough in advance weight levels that they could increase and go up to, they just keep using the same weights over and over and over all year long. If you are not buying heavier weights for your home gym, or figuring out a way to make the move more intense, because I get it, I'm not trying to spend your money for you if you don't have money to dedicate to going to a gym. Like if that's your reason for not going to it, then you may not have money to actually invest in your home gym. But that doesn't mean that you cannot figure out ways to progress. So if you are, whether it's doing the move a little bit more slowly so that you can get more tension on the muscle, or if you're doing body weight moves, maybe you go from doing push-ups on your knees to your toes to on one toe to having your feet elevated, whatever the case may be, you still have to figure out ways to progress within the capacity for what you have, and or continue to increase your capacity to grow, so that progressing is a no-brainer. Number 4, it's kind of along those same lines, and that's not changing it up. Now, I know that in this day and age, with so many varieties of things to do, it kind of seems like, why would she say not changing it up? Like, most people are doing something different almost every single day now, with the amount of gadgets and services and apps and all the things that we have available to us. But that's not quite what I mean. So yes, you don't necessarily want to do the same workout every day, but when we're talking about progressing, that actually is something that's beneficial. If you're doing the same workout for about 4 weeks straight, because you can test at week 4 that you're actually stronger because you're doing the same workout. What I'm saying is not switching that style of workout or that rep range or whatever it is in the next 4 weeks. So maybe somebody loves doing circuits and that's all they ever do. I wouldn't stick to it for more than 30 days. That's why I said, that's why sometimes there's a problem with getting up and doing whatever we feel like, because if we're always crunched for time, we're always going to hit play on that get fit in 15 minutes or less video. And we're always only ever putting in 15 minutes, which typically means if you're doing something that's usually like a get fit in a short amount of time style workout, usually that's going to lean more into a cardiovascular territory. It's going to be something like HIIT or the high intensity interval training, Tabata, or something of that nature. It's going to be more metabolic resistance training, which is pretty much just cardio with weights, or it's going to be something like that that gets your heart rate really up. You're typically not going to be doing any really heavy strength training, something that's building muscle, that's increasing your strength in 15 minutes or less. So you want to have different styles of workouts during different phases of your quarter, your year, so that you're constantly seeing that progression of results. So that means that if you're in a phase or you're doing some workouts that are really high reps, just only stick to doing them for maybe 4 to 6 weeks max, and then switch it up and do something that's a little bit slower pace, something that has rests between each move. Or if you're the opposite and you're somebody who loves lifting heavy and that's all you ever do, you may want to switch it up after 4 to 6 weeks and switch to something that's a little bit lighter in weight and higher in reps. So these things have to constantly change up. So when I'm saying change it up, I'm not saying do a new random workout every day. I'm saying switch up the phases and styles that you're working so that you're in a periodization of your workouts. Periodization simply means that you're doing something for a period of time and then you change and you do something else for another period of time. And these periods of time stack on each other so that you can get some pretty amazing results. So that's one of those of you guys who are inside of my workout app. That is exactly what that is built on, is the periodization style training. If you are looking for workouts that will actually do that for you, make sure that you're in a workout system where things are changing up regularly and it's not all or nothing. It's not always 12 reps or always 10 reps or always 6 reps. You're switching things up. The rest periods are changing. Sometimes there's no rest. Sometimes there's 3 minutes rest. Like, it's a whole thing, but that's how periodization is. And I see that a lot of people that are only following videos aren't necessarily getting that, because the video that you randomly select today does not know what video you randomly selected yesterday. Therefore, it cannot build onto that. Therefore, you cannot get compounding results. That's the reason why you want to make sure that that video, you're the person that's in control. So you need to know that, okay, it's month 6. I'm not going to be getting the same results that I was getting month 1 if I've only been doing this all the time. So don't be afraid to move on. Even if you find something that you love and it's giving you amazing results, switch it up, go to something else, maybe just 4 weeks, and then go back to it. That's fine too. You could try that way, and that way you actually allow your body to keep adapting and giving you results from that phase. So your 5th and final mistake is kind of what I mentioned in all of the above, and that is not giving yourself room to grow. So a lot of home exercisers, as I mentioned in the first tip, as a result of not taking their workouts seriously, as a result of being random, as a result of not planning on having that progression, as a result of not really planning on changing things up, they don't intentionally give themselves the space to do that. And that's where buying heavier weights comes in, having things that you're not actually even using yet be part of your gym equipment so that you can work your way into being able to use them. So a lot of times when a new client starts working with me and they are working out from home, maybe they're just now getting their equipment together and they're saying, well, all I need is this, right? Because I can't really lift heavier than that. And I'm always telling them, like, get heavier than you can lift now, because you will eventually get there. So you want to give yourself that room to grow. You want to buy heavier weights. You want to buy weight gloves, even if right now the weight that you're lifting isn't giving you calluses, because maybe one day you're going to be lifting a weight that will give you calluses. You want to have the workout clothing and all of that stuff so that you are actually fully equipped for the phase that you're doing. So give yourself room to grow. Try to start looking for things to be able to expand what it is that you have in your home gym. If right now you're doing your bench presses on the floor, keep your eye out for a bench. If right now you're doing your squats with dumbbells, keep your eye out for when an Olympic barbell is available at a thrift store or a sporting goods store, Craigslist, a garage sale, whatever the case may be. I know a lot of these places are a little bit harder to find now post, original pandemic. Even though a lot of places are starting to replenish things, there are still a lot of places that don't have that much. So keep your eyes peeled for it, but just start thinking of ways that you can continue to increase that capacity to grow. And if you have questions, just post them here and I will help give you some tips on exactly how you can do that. So if you are working out from home, let's make sure that you are taking your workout seriously. You're not being random. You're progressing in your workouts, regardless of where you're getting them from. You're changing things up at least every 4 to 6 weeks, and you are constantly giving yourself that space and room to grow by constantly investing in your home gym in one way or the other, even if that is stuffing a bunch of cans in a book bag to add to the weights that you have to make it heavier. The entire point is to make sure that you have that space available. So remember, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And I want you guys to see the changes that you want. So make sure that you are subscribed, because I'm going to keep popping up every week, giving you the tips to make sure that you are maximizing your efforts, because who wants to waste week after week after week putting in efforts for no result? Not me, not you, I'm sure. So make sure that if you enjoyed this, go ahead and drop me a comment and let me know if this is helpful to you, or if you want some tips on how to do any of the above, because I don't want to just tell you about the mistakes. I want to help you avoid them. So make sure you check out these videos for more, and I will see you guys again next week.